Welcome back to another episode of Derech Eretz. Sit back and relax with me, Romy Stach. Literacy is the foundation for all learning, and improving the levels of literacy can also assist in improving numeracy. This is crucial to a person's ability to develop fully as an individual, to live a satisfying and rewarding life, and to participate fully in our society. Dr. Jonathan Mach elaborates further.
The Jewish people are known as people of the book. We are known to love books. If you go into most people's homes, Jewish people's homes, you'll find lots of books. Perhaps now it's changing because books are digital, Kindle. But if you go into an Orthodox Jewish person's home, you'll find books on the Talmud, on the Torah, on contemporary themes, on kosher, how to keep the Shabbat. But literacy is more than just reading. I think literacy is your ability to pay attention to what is happening to you right now. So literacy is more than just seeing or reading words. It's about what you're hearing. So your ears can read what you smell, what you taste, the touch, what you feel, even reading emotions or reading one's thoughts is part of literacy. And therefore it is to one's advantage to be able to read more than just words, because when you read words, you're really reading the mind of the author. So when we read emotions, for example, we can read our own, and we can say, okay, I feel angry now, or I feel sad, or I have guilt or shame. And in fact, what you're reading are not words, but sensations in your body that collectively say, I'm angry, or I'm sad, or I'm happy. Even more advantageous is your ability to read the emotions in the other person. How do they look? What does their body language saying about how they feel? Most people around the world can read other people's emotions. Beware when somebody feels angry and you misread that they're actually angry or sad or happy. So literacy is your ability to be aware of what's happening right now in 8 different directions. 1 is to see with your eyes. 2 is to hear with your ears. 3 is to smell with your nose. 4 is to taste with your taste buds in your mouth. 5 is to feel the touch. And the skin is by far the biggest organ in the body. And touch is also allows one to be able to read the signals of someone else touching you. 6, to read thoughts in your brain. 7, to read the emotions in your body. And finally, the body sensations, and perhaps that leads to action. Now, literacy, if you just look at the reading, interesting statistic at university, if students in one of the major courses, for example, medicine or engineering, cannot read at more than 150 or 200, or sometimes people say 300 words a minute, it's a very good metric that they'll probably fail the course. There are other reasons why people fail courses, but one is if they are slow in reading. Personally, I love reading. At any stage you can come into my home, into my study, bedroom, and you'll see a pile of books. I love reading. In fact, books ought to be one's own best friend, that you can luxuriate, read, discuss, argue. I think if we all read a little bit more and understood what we were reading, we'll be a wiser, better world.
Derech Eretz.
simple yet effective literacy program, the vision of Shine Literacy is to create a nation of readers. Working with grade 2 and 3 learners, Shine centers bring benefits for the whole school, not just for those children who attend the program.
A Shine Center is basically a center, it's a room in a classroom, in a school, where we take children in grade 2 and grade 3 out of the classroom. So it's during school time, and we bring them into this room, which is our center, and they work for an hour with a volunteer. I pair the center manager, a person like myself, pairs the child up with a volunteer, and they come in and they work for an hour on various aspects of literacy.
Reading for meaning is an all-encompassing process. It's not just about the reading a comprehension test. Now, if you remember, I don't know, some of us for our schooling, you were given a little extract and then questions at the bottom, and then you had to answer those, and that was your comprehension exercise. But if you look at the curriculum and how it's changed now, comprehension is threaded throughout the subject areas. It's not only about English, it's not only about Afrikaans, it's not only about Xhosa. All of your other subjects are centered with the ability to read for meaning.
The model of the Shine Centre is that the school offers you a classroom so that you have your literacy centre based within the school, running in the morning, and you're reliant on volunteers around the area to support you. Typically, a Shine Centre has anything from 35 to 80 volunteers that come in every single week and partner with 1 or 2 children.
The way we select children to come onto the Shine program is at the end of grade 1. We assess every single grade 1 child. So we bring them into the Shine Centre. We've got a special assessment form, and on the basis of that, that determines which children are underperforming. We then select those children to come onto the program at the beginning of grade 2. So they start then in grade 2.
I think a good volunteer is someone who is passionate about what they're wanting to volunteer at. They have a heart for children, commitment, accountability, responsibility, and really seeing the bigger picture rather than the little picture.
I'm very aware of my white privilege, and a very big part of that is my ability to speak English, which allows me to tap into a global network of knowledge, language, thinking, and commerce. And because of that, I've been able to participate fairly easily in the economy. I would like to be able to give the children whom we teach in Shine some of those advantages. Obviously, I can't give them all, but if I can just stimulate their thinking in English, their ability to converse and read and learn, hopefully that will help them in their participation in the economy, in their personal growth, and in also learning critical thinking. Not that I'm suggesting that's exclusive to English, but if they are able to at least participate in conversations with a whole range of people that allow them to develop that.
Many of the children at the school don't come from a literary background, so they don't have books in their home, many of them. So I think that would set them apart from children who have a rich, who go to the library from the time they're 2 years old. Rhyming, we have introduced rhyming into the Shine Centre because rhyming is invaluable to language development and reading and literacy. Most of these children have not grown up on the kinds of nursery rhymes that English-speaking and Westernized children would have grown up in. So a lot of them will come into school, a lot of them will come into grade 2, into Shine, and they've never heard a rhyme. They don't even know when you say, what rhymes with bed? They'll say bath. Because they think what you're asking is what starts with the same letter, the same sound as the beginning, as B, for bed. They don't even have the concept of rhyme. So that's been quite a challenge as well. And we do a lot of rhyming, and I encourage the volunteers to do a lot of rhyming in the centre. So they say a rhyme, the children, they act it out. So it's just to get the children to start hearing rhyming sounds, which will help them with their literacy.
We do an educational game, which obviously reinforces the vowel meanings, etc., etc. And then we obviously read to them, but mainly, which I love the best of all, is actually reading to the child, because that is the time when you connect and you actually enjoy the story together. Whereas when they're reading to you, obviously there's a little bit of pressure on them to get the words right or to comprehend the story, which is also important.
The more the volunteer works with a child, the more they get to know and understand that child's difficulties, and the more they can start tailoring the program. Even though we've got a structured program, they can still tailor the program and fine-tune it for that particular child. For example, they start getting to know that the child loves animals. So they'll select, when they select their books to read, they'll go for animal books. And in so doing, they know that they're going to get the child's interest.
We've got a very good library, and we do a lot of reading, we do a lot of writing. I do see a progression. I'm not a teacher, so it's difficult to tell exactly what's going on. But certainly they graduate from here in a better state of mind, I think.
I think Shine is one of the many NGOs that does a huge amount of work for children in South Africa, and we do need to become a nation of readers, and it's a problem that is not only confined to children who come from disadvantaged backgrounds. I think that children actually read a lot less now, and it's a problem, the television, and that was a great factor, because one thing about reading is that your imagination is stimulated, because you have to imagine the pictures that you're reading. Imagine in your head the pictures that are described on the page. Very, very important.
Shine Literacy, we are always looking for ways to collaborate with the people we work with. So we'll have parent workshops for the parents, and we encourage the school to be an active participant. We actually hold the workshops most of the time at school. We have developed some training modules for teachers, because we also realize it doesn't matter if we just have interventions for the children and teachers are not supported, then we're going to be strengthening that arm, because we feel that the teachers are a strong and important cog in this whole system.
Shine has an ethos which says, ease creates and urgency destroys. And so one of the key philosophies of our program is that it's really important not to make the child feel that they are terribly far behind and they've got to rush through the next few books in order to catch up to somebody or something. And I think that is one of the reasons why children do start to feel incredibly safe within the Shine Centre program, because nobody is giving them a sense of urgency.
Shine actually captures Derech Eretz beautifully, actually, because we have a Shine ethos, which is listen to the child. This is a partnership. Encourage, praise, and it's a very affirming place, and I think Shine really builds confidence for the children, in the children. So I think it really does capture Derech Eretz really, really beautifully.
The mere presence of books in a home increases the level of education a child can reach. But finding the right books and making the time to read as a family can be hard. That's where PJ Library comes in. By distributing free books every month, the books bring Jewish ideas and inspiration for parents and their children to share together.
This PJ Library book is called The Cholent Brigade. On Friday, the day of the big snow, Mr. Monty Noodleman woke up early to shovel. He shoveled Mrs. Birnbaum's driveway so she wouldn't be late for work. He cleaned off Mr. Levy's minivan so Mr. Levy wouldn't be late for carpooling.
PJ Library, which stands for Pajama Library, was started by an amazing philanthropist called Harold Greenspoon in America. He is a property mogul, and he believed that Jewish people are very literate, except in their Judaism. And he was inspired by a program by Dolly Parton, where she felt that children in disadvantaged areas should be given a book a month for them to keep and build up their own libraries with regards to literacy. And he thought that that was amazing. And since most Jewish parents are reading to their children at bedtime anyway, he said, well, why not get them to be reading Jewish books at bedtime? In 2005, PJ Library, through the Harold Greenspoon Foundation, piloted this program, and about 750 people signed up originally. Today, there are over 560,000 children who are receiving a beautifully illustrated Jewish children's book every single month.
Every book is based around the PJ Library content framework. That means that there's either a Jewish value attached to the book, such as the child's relationship with himself, with his family, or with his or her peer group. It also revolves around Chagim, Shabbat, and celebrations in our Jewish religion. And then there's also Bible stories and Israel. So you will find that your child might come home with a book one month that's a story about Israel, another month is a story about Shabbat, and another month is a story about friendship. But it's always varied so that they're getting each one of the frameworks each month.
Our aim in preschool and in the early childhood years is to introduce children to lots of literature, because that is one of the key factors in motivating them to learn to read. The fact that we now have books with the Jewish content from PJ Library really helps us in that. We can use the books at school. They tie up with our themes of mitzvot, of the Chagim, and they're sent home with lots of very clear directions to the parents on how to utilize them. And so we have that crossover from school to home, and we're reinforcing all the Jewish values and ethics, and we're doing it through books.
It was the morning after Yom Kippur. Good morning to you, Answer Jesse. But where's Nathaniel? He is so handy with a saw and hammer. We need him to come and help us build the sukkah. Just then Nathaniel arrived, carrying his toolbox. What do you think they were going to build, Yeladim?
A sukkah.
A sukkah. What do you need to build a sukkah?
Leaves.
Leaves. And what tools do you need to build it? What tools do you need?
Screwdriver.
Yes, a nail and a hammer.
What we are finding is that children are not reading as much as they used to. It's not even the technology, because they could be reading on Kindles, but they're not reading as much. What we're finding now with PJ Library, we build it up, and the excitement to be getting the book is part of it. And then they all bring their bags back, because they keep their bags at home, and they start bringing them back a couple of days before we're going to hand out the book. And then when we do the book, we always have a special launch of the new book. It's going to be either we get somebody in to present it, or I will read it to the whole foundation phase. And there's a big build-up. They get terribly excited about having the book, and then about taking it home and sharing it at home.
So two things that we create for the schools to get everybody excited is, one, a poster that goes up in the classroom telling the kids the name of the book and what the book looks like. And the second is a midah poster, which explains to the children and the teacher exactly what the value is that's attached to the book. The teachers put these posters up in the classroom, and it's a constant reminder throughout the month that there is a book in the classroom to read, to share, to discuss, and to explore together.
Literacy is an essential component of learning. We really are encouraging and assisting children at every stage of their development to understand the importance of reading and the value of books, to ask children to develop opinions about the books they read. In our Grade R year, we introduce a wonderful literacy program called Shared and Paired, where we're developing critical readers. Do you like the story? What don't you like about it? What does this character represent to you? So it starts from young, and we can help children develop those very important skills of critical thinking.
Now I want to know, what lesson can we learn from this book? What lesson can we learn? Zach?
If someone be nice to you, you must be nice to them back.
Reva?
So he was busy shoveling and he hurt his back, so they were turning the favor.
In South Africa, one of PJ Library's aims is to distribute the books to as many Jewish children as possible between the ages of 3 and 8. But some of those children do not go to a Jewish day school. And so part of our mission is to find those children and to invite them to sign up so that they can also receive the books if they are not going to a Jewish day school.
Another part of PJ Library's responsibility to our community is actually involving the parents, involving the grandparents. So we have parent engagement evenings where we bring in professionals to discuss the importance of reading to young children, engaging with young children, educational issues that parents might be interested or curious to know more about.
Families don't read as much together as they used to either. You know, I really believe that children are never too old to be read to. I still read to my big children who are in their 30s if I find a passage that I think that they will enjoy, and they read things to me too. So I think having this book to share, which they do because the whole build-up is an exciting thing to share at home, has made a difference in their reading culture at home.
I think the Derech Eretz of PJ Library is how inclusive it is, that everyone who identifies as Jewish is included and their children will receive the books. People identify with their Judaism in different ways. Some people see it just as a religion. Some people see it as culture and tradition. Some people see themselves as being part of a bigger Jewish people. But PJ Library doesn't discriminate against them. And for me, the most important thing, and for PJ Library, is inculcating the Jewish values, which are exactly what Derech Eretz is.
American literacy expert and author Pam Allen said, "Reading is like breathing in, writing is like breathing out." If you would like to share your thoughts with us, send us a message on Facebook at Derech Eretz Connect. From me, Romy Stach, and the Derech Eretz team, remember, a good book has the ability to ignite the mind.